Hello again, this is Nikki with your Addicted DIYer. I'm going to be showing you how to make this wall hanging wine barrel. It's like a half barrel and you can use it to display flowers or any kind of seasonal decor, and it just hangs perfectly on the wall. So I'm going to show you how we do this, and I'll give you the list of materials here in just a second. All right, so my sister-in-law just redid her bathroom downstairs, which is right off of her kitchen and eat-in area. And her kitchen is all done in a Tuscan Italian theme. And she needed a few wall hangings and things to spruce up the bathroom a little bit. And I thought, well, if I can create a small version of a wine barrel that has flowers or grapes coming out of it, that would be like perfect. So I put my mind to it, and this is what I came up with. So I'm going to give you a brief rundown of the supplies. Most of them come from the Dollar Tree. I think one, maybe two items came from Walmart or Home Depot, but it doesn't cost much of anything. I venture to say you can make probably you can make two of these for under $5. So let's get going. I'm sure you have most of this stuff in your stash, but I'm going to give you a rundown. So here we go. All right, so what you're going to need to create one of these is going to be one package of these paint sticks. I get these from Home Depot. It's 98 cents and you get 10 of them. I believe they sell them at Walmart as well, but mine was out when I was there, so I grabbed these. I always grab a couple packs of these when I was at Home Depot last. Like I said, 98 cents for 10 of them. This is a standard size. They have really long ones, but this is what we're going to need for this project. You're also going to need a piece of the Ready board from the Dollar Tree. I always have a couple of these in my stash. You're not going to need a full piece. You're only going to need basically an 8-inch circle. So if you have some scraps that will fit that, that's all you're going to need. You're also going to need a piece of poster board. You can use the full-size one. I grab a couple packages of the smaller, the 11 by 14 size. They're just so much more handy to me when I'm doing these smaller projects. So, but you only need a piece of this. So if you have some regular poster board lying around, that's fine. As long as you have a 14-inch long piece, you'll be in great shape. You're also going to need a package of this shelf paper. This comes from the Dollar Tree. It's the lighter one. They have two tones. They have a dark one and a light one. I've used the light one. You can use the dark one. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. You're also going to need one of these basket things. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. I already took the tag off. They come at the Dollar Tree. They go in the hanging wire baskets. It's like a mesh of jute and bark, and I don't know, but you're going to need one of these. And then whatever florals you like. I chose to use the greenery bouquets that they got this spring at the Dollar Tree. I just absolutely love them. The lamb's ear kind of flock feel to them. I'm using 5 of these in one, but like I said, you can use whatever florals you want. For the other things, obviously, you're going to need your glue gun and glue sticks. You're going to need, I use wood glue. You can use Elmer's glue. This is just, I have it, so I use it. So you're going to need some of that. You're also going to need some of the Fix-All or E6000 glue. And then you're going to need some silver spray paint. Now, I absolutely love the Valspar metallic spray paint. It is the shiniest silver. It doesn't have that dulling look. It almost comes across as bright tin foil. It is the best. It's a little pricey, but a little bit goes a long way on this. You don't have to do multiple coats, so this is my suggestion as far as silver spray paint goes. I also use the Waverly chalk paint, and this is in hazelnut. And Waverly chalk paint, which this is an elephant. My lid broke, so I have it in this little container for the time being. And nothing would be rusted without a little bit of cinnamon. So I keep that on hand as well. Now, I am so sorry about that. We just changed our phone number, and now apparently someone who had the number before us, oh, it's just, the phone's ringing off the hook with telemarketers. It's ridiculous. Sorry about that. So let's get back to what we were doing. Okay, so because I was looking for a stain that matched my shelf paper, I actually took a little bit of dark walnut and natural stain by Minwax and did a 50-50 on it because I like the walnut, but it was just a little too dark. So I just added just a, like I said, 50-50 of the natural, and you just mix them up in a side cup, and that's what I used to match my shelf paper. If you use the darker shelf paper, you can probably get away with just using the dark walnut by itself. You're also going to need a compass, a sharp object, well, a razor blade, a pencil, and a few of, clothespins or whatever. I use these to hold things as they're waiting to set up. And I'm pretty sure that's everything we're going to need. So let's get started on this. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take all 10 of your paint sticks out of that package and take them out and give them a nice rub down with the stain. So I have all of them stained front and back. Now what you'll notice is they come with this ruler on them. Don't worry about that. You won't see it in the finished project, but just for continuity, I stained the whole thing, ends, sides, the whole 9 yards. So all 10 of them get stained. You're also going to take your piece of poster board, and if you use the smaller pieces, they're already 14 inches, so you're just going to cut 4 strips that are 3/4 inches wide, okay? And take those outside and give them a quick dusting with your silver spray paint. You only need to paint one side of them, so you don't need to paint the back. So just give them a quick coat, let them dry, and we'll move on to the next step. So with these, what you're going to do is you're going to glue 2 together. Obviously, you want all the paint sides out. And this is what I use my wood glue for. Like I said, you can use Elmer's glue, but this is what I have, so this is what I use. Give it a good little spread with my finger. Line it up. Make sure it's nice and what I like to do when I glue these together, because they're not going to be straight, they're going to be bent, and you don't want to get any kinks in it, you kind of curl it a little bit. You want it to have a little bit of a bend to it so that when the glue dries, it's already got a curve. Because if you kept it straight and then later on when we go to put it on, you'll get ripples and kinks in it, and it won't look nice and smooth like metal strapping. Okay, so I'm going to do that with both of these. If you see 4 legs walking around behind me, that's my dog Lola. She likes to come in and make sure I'm doing this right, so I'm a little supervisor. Okay. Okay, make sure it's all lined up. Give it the nice little curve and let that dry for a little bit, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so the next step you're going to need is you're going to take your foam core board or your ready board, and you're going to, with your compass, you're going to measure out 4 inches and then do your circle. And then take a straight edge. I actually use one of my paint sticks. Going through that hole that the compass makes, just go through that hole and draw a straight line. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut this out. does not have to be super, super perfect. But you want to keep your blade at a right angle because you don't want any kind of beveling on your circle. It'll just make it a little harder to get the paint sticks to adhere. Cut all the way through, pop right out. Okay, then you're just going to cut that in half because you're going to need your 2 halves for your ends of your barrel. Just like that. Easy peasy. Now you're going to take some of your shelf paper. You're going to cover both front and back of these pieces. Now, you want to have enough so that you can wrap it over. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more here. My scissors. I think I'm going to cut on this line right here. And like I said, if you have some of this lying around, great, because you're not going to use a whole roll. But if you're a DIYer like I am, you have this on hand all the time. So, then I just cut out my 4 pieces. Now, 2 of them don't need to be as big because you're not going to wrap them over. They're going to fit perfectly in here. So, I just eyeball, cut in half, and cut my pieces. So, 2 little smaller pieces set aside, and your 2 bigger ones, you can overlap them. Like I said, this part doesn't need to be perfect. You just want to give yourself enough extra space. So I just roughly cut out and give myself enough, you know, to wrap over. Like I said, not perfect, doesn't need to be. Nobody will know. Alright, so the way I do this is you take, if I can get it off, come on, there we go. Because this is repositionable, it makes it so easy. And you just kind of get it in there. Make sure you smooth out the side. And then what I like to do is I cut here and here. Make sure you can see this. Fold that in, making sure it's wrapped around nice and tight. Okay, you're going to cut off this corner and this corner, and then you're going to go in and cut slits about a ½ inch all the way around. And you're doing this from right where it touches the foam core. Just like that. Then you can just start at one end and work your way around all the way, pulling nice and tight so you get that nice curve to it. You have one end, then you're going to take one of your small pieces and trace. This is the only part that needs to be a little precise. Now, when I cut this out, I'm going to cut just inside the line because you want it to be just a hair smaller than the piece. So I just kind of eyeball it. If you need to measure it out, I'm like literally a 1/16 of an inch in. Cut this. When you get that cut out, you want to, before you peel it off, you want to test to make sure it's small enough. Because you really don't want any overhang, because that will make it easy for it to peel off. Like I said, this is repositionable, so it's not, I mean, it's sticky, but it's not meant to be permanent forever. So just want to make sure that we're well within, and we're looking good there. So again, you just peel this off. Easier said than done sometimes. Okay. And I'm just gonna get this lined up. Make sure you don't have any major air bubbles. And there you go. You are all set. You're going to do one more of these with the other piece of foam core, and then come back and we'll start putting this thing together. Okay, I have both of my pieces all done. Both sides are nice and covered and smoothed out. And we're all set to move on. So now what we're going to do is, now that our faux strapping has had a chance to dry, we're going to grab some of our other stuff here and let me get this a good shake up, and we're going to rusticate my own word, and make these look like real metal straps. So I did forget to grab a paintbrush, so give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, so I get one of my plastic mats. I don't like getting paint on my cutting mats. So what we're going to do first is you're going to take your elephant chalk paint and a stiff bristled brush. And I'm just kind of all over the place till it's just barely any on there. And you're just going to brush it on. And this dries so quickly. Too much there. Get some of this off. Okay. And the great thing is when you're putting this over like metallic spray paint, it buffs so easy. So if you get too dark, you just brush it with a little bit more and it just kind of blends in a little bit. So let me do that all the way down on both of my straps. Sorry if I'm I like mine to be a little dark, so you kind of want to take out a good amount of that shine. So you can always put more on. Now I will tell you the chalk paint, if you go over it too many times, it'll just start coming off. So. You don't want to do it too much. That's good. I think I need to put a little bit more on this one. A few more dark spots. Like I said, you just play with it until you like it and they match. So that looks good to me. So without cleaning my brush, because I don't like to waste time, I use my hazelnut Waverly chalk paint and do the same thing. Just hit it with some of that brown. Try to get the edges real good because this is your base for your rust. Give it some randomness. Gotta get the edge here real good. Just be thinking about where rust shows up the most, which is the edge, and then random spots where the paint or the, you know, whatever was sealing the metal at one time has worn away. But typically your edges are your first to do it. So just hit those. Some of this. Okay, now at this point, feel free to leave it at that if that's how you want to go. I think it looks more authentic when I add a little bit of cinnamon. So I love using these plastic mats, and I have some just watered down Elmer's glue that I have here, and I'm going to grab a napkin over here real quick. Off. Once again, just take off a little bit of the excess of the paint that's on there, and you just get a little bit of the watered down Elmer's glue, and like I said, you just want to hit the edges and some of the little streaks on the inside. You can do this with Mod Podge or the wood glue, or you can, if you're fast enough, you can put it right on wet paint, but the Waverly chalk paint tends to dry faster, so I go back and I just use Elmer's glue. And then we're just gonna dust it with our cinnamon. And then tap the excess off. See, we got a nice rusty piece of metal. So what I'm going to do is I'll hit this with a coat of clear poly before I use it. You can give it a coat of Mod Podge, anything that will seal it in so this stuff doesn't come off on your hands. But I'm going to show you, this is the other reason why I love using this plastic mat, because I was going through so many things of cinnamon, it was ridiculous with all the stuff that I like to rust. So now I just use this and I can put it right back in my jar and save it for another craft project. So I'm going to rust and get these painted with a little bit of matte sealer, and I will be right back and we will get to assembling. Okay, while my clear coat is drying, we're going to work on cutting this down so it'll fit in there properly. So first thing you're going to do is you're just going to flatten it and tuck it so that it's almost like a taco, curvy taco. And we are going to take off straight line basically from point to point. Not the easiest to cut, but I'm also not using my best scissors because I didn't want to ruin them. And you get some hard spots that are a little thicker than others. Okay. So basically this is what you're cutting off on both sides. I'm not sure what you could use this for, but if you need to hang on to it, go for it. Okay, so now our piece is only going to be as wide as our sticks. So we need to cut off a little bit on each end. So I like to take off about inch and a half. Yeah. Off each end. And then I'm just going to hot glue these together. And this, it takes a little bit longer to set because it's a very porous material. I just use my little clips. And I'm going to do that. Get that out of my way. To my other side. Some more clips here. And you can set that aside while that cures. Now we're going to be assembling this. So, okay, now we're ready to assemble our piece. So, the part where we folded all the pieces in and put the smaller piece on top, that's going to go on the inside of your barrel. You want the nice smooth part to be on the outside. So we're going to make sure you're wrong side up, and we're going to glue the back ones on first and then the bottom ones. We're going to do the top ones last because you need to put your filler in first, otherwise it gets really difficult. So we're going to do 3 on the back. So basically, and I'm just using hot glue. My suggestion, because hot glue doesn't stick to shelf paper very well, is to use a combination of Fix-All or E6000 and your hot glue. But you're just going to do 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and you want to make sure that the numbers on your paint sticks, if your paint sticks have a ruler on them, you want to make sure those are on the back side because you don't want those being seen. Okay, and 1 right eyeball it in the middle. As far as where the handles are on your paint sticks, where they have these little indentions, that's not going to matter whether it's up, down, it doesn't matter, because this is where our, those metal straps that we made are going to go over it. So it'll completely camouflage it. Okay. So once you got that all done, then you're going to go and hot glue the other side. And get that nice and set. It's very wobbly at the moment. I'm going to give it a little bit more security right here on all of the pieces. Like I said, if you're using the hot glue and fix-all, you should be fine. I got cobwebs everywhere. Get that nice and set. Now, for the bottom of it, you want to make sure that your ruler part is on the inside. So, I put my first one up. See, here's the bottom. You kind of want to put this one so that it's about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. Sorry if I'm out of frame. Like this. Okay? So, I'm going to my hot glue, just eyeballing it. Let me get that in place. Like I said, I'm going to have to hit this with a blow dryer to get rid of all my little cobwebs. Get that on there. Now, for your next one, you want to put them about 1/4 of an inch difference. I have, you can use popsicle sticks. If you set a popsicle stick right here and here and use that for your spacer. I'm just going to eyeball it today, but I'm going to do it this way. You want them to be about 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch apart. Just eyeballing it. It looks about right. My cobwebs. Remember, I'm going to do 4 on the bottom. So here we go. Let me see. About there. Okay, and one more to go. Just all right. My excess glue that's sticking out. Ooh, I got cobwebs sticking all over me. All right, so this is what we have so far. Okay. Now, before we put the last 3 on the top, we're going to take our little basket that we cut down and glued up a little early and pop it open like this. So you got yourself like a little taco. And you're going to stick that down in here. And I pushed it down so that it's even with this right here. And then what I would do is put a little bit of hot glue. And some more of my little clips. Get that in there. And then you tuck the bottom one, you're going to tuck it to the back, and you're going to do the same thing to the back. So just going to put not a whole lot, but a fair amount. And some more popsicles or some more clothespins, just until that sets up. And that's just so that whatever you end up putting in here doesn't come out through your little slots. You could use burlap if you have some of that lying around, or ribbon, whatever works for you. I just happen to have this and thought this would be a good use for it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You kind of the whole point of it is imperfection. Once that hot glue sets up, you can just pull off your little things. That way you're not, if the hot glue comes through this, you're not burning yourself. Okay, got that in there. Now turn around and we're going to do the last 3. A little bead of hot glue. Like I said, you want it to be about a 1/4 of an inch from the end, and then spaced out about a 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch between your slats. Get all my excess glue off. And just keep in mind, you want the rulers part to be on the inside. If, you know, it may be a problem, go ahead and you can try and sand it off. I just didn't think it was going to be that problematic for me. So just keep in mind, all the ways the rulers need to be facing the back. And our last paint stick. Get that leveled up. So my cobwebs. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to be hitting this with a blow dryer. Get rid of all this excess cobwebs I got going on. Although it is supposed to be an old wine barrel, so I guess that wouldn't be necessarily a bad thing. And here you have it. It's your lovely wine barrel wall piece. Now, like I said, you can use whatever flowers you want. And there's a chance that most likely I'm just going to be changing out whatever's in here seasonally. So I don't cut. Ooh, come on. The stems off of my things. If it's something you want it to be more permanent, you can put some floral foam in there. I just take my things and I take the tag off and I kind of fluff them out a little bit, and then I just give this a nice little twist. That way, if I want to use these in another project at a later time, I can. Once you get all those done, you can set those aside, and we are going to add our metal strapping. Now, where your handle part is where we're going to put this. So, at the top, I'm just going to put a bead of glue. Make sure it's even with the back of, you want it to hang all the way over to the back. And then, as straight, ooh, I need more hot glue. Just do straight hot glue right on down your piece. Sorry. Okay, all the way down, and you'll have a little bit of excess, which is okay. Just give it a little trim. And now you have your strapping on your barrel. So, I'll turn this around this way. glue in there. And trim off your excess little piece there. And here you go. You got your strapping and everything. Everything's secure. I'm gonna get this a little extra hit over here. Okay. And we are all set to decorate. Like I said, you can, once you hang this up on the wall, you can hang hand towels over this, or I pried that one off good, didn't I? There we go. So then I just take my floral pieces, cram some over here so that they come out here. Little pieces coming out between the slats. Another stem here. Curl my bottom. Pull a few through here. No right way or wrong way, just whatever way you want to do it. I'll take one of these and I'll feed it up through here. Make sure we're sticking out in places. Like I said, if you want to make this something you're just always sticking flowers in, you can use some floral foam. I wasn't sure what she was going to end up sticking in these once I got them in the bathroom, so I just stuck these in there for display purposes. And one more. Get all my tags off. Nice little fluff here. Stick that one in there. And here we are, all set to hang up on the wall. And the easiest thing to hang it is right here. So, like I said, when you're making this, you want to use the Fix-All or E6000. That'll make this piece a lot more permanent. But for time constraints, I just went ahead and used the Elmer's glue, or hot glue. Take one more look at this. Let me know what you think and leave your comments in below. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to my video, and hope to see you guys again next time. Thanks. Bye.